Pride Month used to be about celebrating gay rights and campaigns for equality. It's now more about ad campaigns celebrating righteous brands in places where equality often already exists, from burgers to banks, machines to Marines. Yes, bullets apparently are now gay. Everybody wants to know it's okay to be gay, which of course it is, except of course where it's not. Big brands love to signal their virtue in English-speaking countries where gay rights have been hard-fought and hard-earned, but not so keen to do it in the Middle East, for example, where it's often illegal and punishable by death. They don't really care about LGBTQ or you. The only pride a lot of these corporations seem to have is in their quarterly earnings report. World football's governing body, FIFA, for example, is flying the rainbow flag at its headquarters a few months before it flies the game's superstars to the World Cup in Qatar, where gay people are flogged or killed. And it seems nobody's more keen to show you they're along for the pride than professional sports teams, whether the players like it or not. Paris Saint-Germain footballer Idrissa Gueye sat out a recent game because the rest of his team were wearing rainbow emblazoned jerseys. He's a Muslim from Senegal, where being gay can land you in jail. And 5 Tampa Bay Rays players in America this week refused to wear uniforms with LGBT rainbow logos for Pride Month, citing their right to make a personal choice. I would argue they have that right. It should be a personal choice, as should all social or political gestures. We shouldn't be shaming or abusing any sports people, frankly, who don't want to participate in this kind of thing. But that's just my view. Joining me to discuss all this is bisexual activist and writer Lewis Oakley, along with wrestler and Fox News contributor Tyrus. Welcome to you both. So let me start with you, Lewis. Here's my issue about this. I don't think anybody should be forced to signal their virtue if they don't wish to. And yet we're seeing more and more pressure now being applied both by sporting teams and associations. We're seeing it applied by social media, the court of public opinion, to say if you don't do this, then you are a bigot and you should be shamed. What's your view?
Well, yeah, I totally agree. We shouldn't force people to wear things and support things publicly that they don't support. It's fine. Obviously, that comes down to, well, if you're not going to take the knee, if you're not going to wear these laces, what does this say about you? And I think that's where we need to have the conversation.
Why should it say anything about you? I mean, for example, there are black footballers who don't want to take the knee anymore. They think it's sort of lost its steam and impact. If they should be allowed to say, I'm not going to do it, why shouldn't a white player, without you making the insinuation, well, it says something about you if you don't?
Well, this is the thing. I don't think if you're not going to take the knee, or if you're not going to wear the laces, it means you're a bad person. I just think it means, OK, well, there's a conversation to be had. There are many reasons why someone would not want to wear rainbow laces or wear the pride thing. But we have to ask why. Like, what is it? Is it that you hate the gays, you don't want to see them around? Or is it that you think it's woke gone mad? Whatever it is. But that's where the issue is, because we still have to come back to the reason this is being done, right? The reason this is being done is because we still don't have any out Premier League footballers. It's still got that stigma of homophobia in it. And we're just kind of saying, look, how can we kind of make up for this? This has historically been somewhere where gays were not wanted or bisexuals were not wanted.
I think it's a perfectly valid point. Tyrus, I mean, I think that I would be completely supportive of a lot of these issues, but I don't like the pressure that's now being applied, for example, to these Tampa Bay Rays players, this sort of outrage over their disinclination to signal their virtue for pride. They should be allowed not to if they don't want to, shouldn't they?
Well, they should, and to what we need to get back to having two thoughts on one subject. I think you can be completely supportive of Gay Pride Month and not necessarily have to wear a banner flag for it. During Black History Month in the United States, I don't expect my white friends to acknowledge my blackness every day. But at the same time, it's about equality. And when you receive equality, you can also say, while I respect you, I differ in opinion, or I just choose for no other reason than I don't want to celebrate it.
Right.
It doesn't mean you can't acknowledge it. It can't mean you can't appreciate it. I think the problem is whenever somebody doesn't acknowledge it, we allow the mainstream media to think that there can only be one way. You're either pro-gay or you're not.
Right.
And that's not true. You can support it. And I think what the Tampa Bay baseball player eloquently said was, although he supports and he has no issues with them, his religious beliefs are what they are. And we have to respect that. Just like if someone says, listen, I don't think of mixing of the races as something I want to do in my household, but I don't have anything against black people as a whole. This is my personal choice. I don't have to like it. And I'm probably not going to have lunch with that guy. But I can respect it. It's about respect.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's not
remember
about
I actually
advantage
had
and
quite a long debate, actually, with my sons, all in their 20s, when it was the Black Square Day on Instagram, where post George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests, it was a day when everyone was supposed to have a black square as their Instagram post, and that was all they would post all day. And I didn't go along with it because I didn't really think it would be that effective, and I just thought it was a bit of sort of pointless virtue signaling. My sons got quite annoyed about it with me, and they were under pressure from their friends who'd seen I hadn't done it. And that just showed me really how insidious a lot of this pressure can be. Peer pressure, social media pressure, and corporate pressure to do these kind of things.
But I think it's a balance, right? Like, it's about, yeah, you should not feel pressure to do anything. Don't support things you don't support. Actually, why would you want to say you support something if you don't, right? But at the same time, you're feeling a little bit of pressure there. Like, oh, I feel a bit of
Actually,
pressure.
I wasn't feeling it. They were feeling it. And the point I was going to make with Tyrus was, you know, for example, FIFA, who are putting on the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup, their statement actually said this on Twitter last week to celebrate Pride Month. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be a celebration of unity and diversity, a joining of people from all walks of life, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, age, disability, sex characteristics, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression. Everyone will be welcome. And they followed up with another statement about pride. But the problem with all this is they've sold the World Cup rights to the country of Qatar, where it is illegal to be gay.
Well, and that's the same problem that every group that's recognized has. Nobody is more important or more powerful than that mighty dollar. And that dollar makes a lot of corporations turn the other way, and they try to set up fights in other places for us to. Let me take a perfect example, and I'm gonna take race and sexuality out of it for a minute. Just people's perceptions. Mr. Morgan, I saw you this weekend on TV, and you were there with the great Sharon Osbourne. I was so happy to see her back on TV again. The perception of her is horrible, right? But I know from personal experience, when I was a bodyguard for Snoop, we shared the same apartment building as her daughter. And me and 4 of the largest brothers you've ever seen had to sit outside in the sun literally every day in the June because there wasn't enough room in Snoop's apartment. Do you know who came up literally every other day bringing us water and food to the point where we're like, no,
right?
Mrs. Osborne, no more. Thank you, no more, no more. It was nighttime. Sometimes it'd be 12 o'clock at night, and she'd be walking, asking if we wanted or needed anything. There was no cameras on. But the perception was one thing, and she didn't have to broadcast her support. And she didn't care what color we were. She just saw 4 big, hungry, hot men who just happened to be black that she took care of.
You know what,
to
Tyrus?
the point where we would be like, so much.
One word has
And
shone
that's
out to
what
me
we
on
need to
that.
get
I think
to.
the word hot has shone out to me there, and that's probably why Sharon was hovering around you.
Hot in the sense of temperature. I mean, I don't think, she's into artists, so I don't think we fit. But the point is, it goes back to the same thing. You can have the same support, and like I said, I have no issue. Whether best friend, neighbor, whatever, I have no issue. I care more about how you pay your bills and how you treat your neighbors than what you do in your bedroom or what color you are. But you don't necessarily have to shout it to the moon.
I agree.
To support,
I think you've hit the nail on the head about its actions speak a lot louder to me than virtue signaling. Final point with you, Lewis. Like BMW, for example, did their gay pride social media posts last week, but they didn't do it on their Middle Eastern Twitter account, and nor did Sephora, Cisco, Mercedes. Yeah. So they were supportive of gay pride here, but they weren't going to be supportive of it publicly in countries where it's illegal to be gay. That is what gets my goat about a lot of this stuff.
Well, it's total hypocrisy. And, it's easy to throw a rainbow flag on something in this country, isn't it? Where they really need to be putting their effort is those countries.
Yes.
So it would actually have been brave of them to have done it there. But yeah, and you know what? LGBT people see through that stuff.
I think so too. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
So. Lewis, great to see you. Thank you very much. Tyrus, always great to talk to you. Please come back soon.
Thank you,
Love
sir.
having you on the show. Thank you very much.